You have to be able to develop maturity, but in order to do that, you have to become emotionally intelligent. You need to have a language to understand emotions. What are you feeling? To say, well, I'm feeling hurt. Okay, what does hurt mean? Well, hurt. No, what does it mean? I'm feeling betrayed. I'm feeling unloved. I'm feeling disrespected. I'm feeling unappreciated. I'm feeling helpless. I'm feeling hopeless. All of those emotions hurt. That's emotional intelligence. Being able to label what you actually feel, having the knowledge of what is happening inside of you. That's called self-awareness, which is the core fundamental of a healthy and emotionally intelligent person. Now, once you are aware of what you're feeling, you got to be able to self-regulate that. That's maturity. That's the maturity part. You can't have self-control and self-regulation if you're not aware of what you're actually feeling, but you're not aware of what you're actually thinking, what experiencing. And now you're able to manage whatever that is, you see. Early on in my marriage, I had no idea what I was going through because I lacked that emotional intelligence. I didn't know how to live with my emotions. And I would sulk. I would go silent. I was passively aggressive. I was manipulative. Llewellyn used to say to me in those early years of marriage, you're like a boulder around my neck. And I go, just meet my needs, I'll be fine. What I didn't know was what I was doing was creating pain in her life. My mentor, Lori Gordon, made it clear to me a long time ago. She said, Rick, whether you like it or not, everything you do is a source of pleasure or a source of pain. And if the bulk of what you do is a source of pleasure, she'll feel love for you. But if the bulk of what you do is painful, she's going to find it very hard to feel love for you over time. Because you don't feel love for people who are a source of pain. You feel threatened by them. So what do? You guard yourself. You move into fight, flight, or freeze response. Why would I want to live that way? I don't want to live that way. You see, when I started getting in touch with what I was feeling, and something actually was a catalyst for that, came to a place that I realized I have not even earned the right to comfort my wife. When I cared enough to change, I changed. And then I went and started reading books and went to best practices and learned from different people's programs on healthy relationships. And I went to personal development and I learned what it meant to become a mature adult, to self-regulate, to speak my truth, but in love, because love has a tone to it, to be slow to anger and to be quick to hear, to listen to others, right? And be slow to speak, because that's maturity. Love focuses on others. Pride focuses on oneself. Humility, I found out, is a very powerful way to live life. But in order to become a mature person, you're going to have a high self-esteem. You're going to increase your self-esteem as you become mature. You will begin to have greater self-respect for yourself. Your confidence level will grow. Your sense of value and worth will grow as well. All of that will begin to take place when you start to become emotionally mature. Immature people throw relationships away. Why? Well, because they want to pursue feelings. And if you want to pursue feelings, that's fine. But immature people are led by emotions. They're not led by reason. That's the culture today. I don't feel this, so I should be able to feel what I want to feel. And so we throw things away without any regard for what we're doing to the other people. We throw them away in order to chase our feelings. The only problem is the longer you chase your feelings, you may be making a lot of poor decisions along the way. But that's immaturity. Mature people count the cost. They understand, emotionally intelligent people understand that what I'm feeling and thinking, what I'm about to do with these emotions, what are the effects of those? They consider how they're going to be on other people, because mature people, emotionally intelligent people, because they're humble, and humility requires emotional maturity and emotional intelligence, they begin to think in terms of compassion and cooperation rather than just one's self. In short, immature people can be bullies. They can be manipulative. They're very selfish. There's a whole lot of things that you can say about this. And you can think, just as you're listening to me, what would that be like? What would that be like if I was married to someone like that? If you don't know, call my wife, Llewellyn. She'll tell you, because she had to deal with that part of me. I'm not proud of it, but I'm being open and honest with you folks. I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful that she loved me enough, even when sometimes she lost the feelings of love. One time we were in a really bad spot. It was probably 2004, 2005, probably the worst 2 years of my 37-year marriage. And we have a strong relationship today. We're a strong us. We're not perfect by any stretch of the meaning, but I think we're both pretty mature. We don't let conflict destroy the usness anymore. We regulate those things and always protect the relationship from conflict, which is what maturity does. I felt so disconnected, and we were in one of our low points, and she came in the bedroom, and I was sitting on the bed, and I was about to get up and go to work, and I was just sitting there feeling the pain and the loss and the loneliness. And she came in and she put her hand on my knee, right? And she says, I want you to know something. And I said, what's that? She says, I don't like you right now. And I said, I know I'm not real likable. She says, but I do love you. We'll work through this together. That's maturity. Even though she lost that love and feeling, as the old Righteous Brothers song goes. You can tell I really like that song because I refer to it a lot. Because when you lose the love and feelings, you've lost a sense of us, right? You know that us is in the house, and when you feel its presence. But even though she lost the love and feelings, Luella was able to say, in spite of that, I still choose to love you, and we're going to make it through. That was teamwork. And I'll never forget those words. Those words took me for a long time, quite a few months. Listen to this paragraph here from an article. Emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature people are able to create healthy and lasting relationships. They are also able to easily separate themselves from relationships with people who lack those qualities. In other words, you don't engage a fool in their folly. To engage a fool in their folly is actually immature. Well, why do you not engage a fool in their folly, as the old Jewish proverb says? It's because when you engage a fool in their folly, you will lower yourself to the level of the fool. I don't want to be that person. Someone asked me once, Dr. Rick, why is it that I should treat people with goodwill and respect when they don't do that to me? It's a fair question, but the implication is the way I treat people is based on the way others treat me. And what I said to this person is, the reason you treat people with goodwill and respect, even when they don't do it to you, has nothing to do with that person. It has to do with who you want to be. I treat you with goodwill and respect, regardless of whether you do that with me. Why? It's about who I want to be. It's about the person that I want to become. It's about the way that I want my marriage to be. It's about the husband that I want to be. It's about the person that I want to be. We understand that mature people value themselves enough to not allow themselves to go there. And when they are triggered at that 1/2000th back here lower reptile brain, fight, flight, or freeze, they're able to step into that 6-second window you get to regulate it. Why? Because I'm aware that I'm triggered and I don't want to respond in an immature way to my wife. All right, back to our paragraph. Emotionally intelligent and emotionally mature people are able to create healthy and lasting relationships. They are also able to easily separate themselves from relationships with people who lack those qualities. Once you have emotional intelligence and maturity, it becomes harder to tolerate those who don't. It is as if having those qualities becomes a sort of defense shield against those who lack them. You won't be able to and won't want them in your space. Their energy is draining. In other words, the more mature you become and the more intelligent you become at the emotional level, you start to set boundaries for your life. Did you get that? You start to set boundaries for your life. It's like you're saying, you know what? I respect myself enough that I'm not going to let you treat me that way. And if you want to continue to treat me that way, then we're going to have to make a decision about this relation. But for right now, I'm going to remove myself. You see, mature people treat people with goodwill and respect. At the same time, though, they want to be treated with goodwill and respect. And if another person who's immature will not do that, then you put the mature person in a position to make decisions for themselves. And many of them will. I don't want that in my life. And this is why so many people, I say today, have earned their divorce because they have treated their spouse with such immaturity over time and brokenness. And because of that, it puts the other person in position to have to make some decisions about what they want in their life. What do they want in their life? When we get married, we're not looking for brokenness. We're looking for love. We're looking for a strong, healthy, vibrant marriage, a love that is connected, that you can feel. I call it the us. You can feel the usness. There's mutual respect. There's mutual admiration and affection. You know, it takes maturity to sustain that. One of the things we say in Relate Well is the key about Relate Well is you've got to learn how to build at us, and then you've got to learn how to sustain us. So when you build us plus sustain us, and here's the key about the sustaining part. When you build us plus sustain us, even in conflict, that leads to a healthy, thriving, mature marriage. But you got to know how to build an us, which is what we teach in Relate Well, the skills for connecting and bonding and attachment. And then you got to know how to sustain the us even in conflict. That means you need good communication and conflict resolution skills that keep your brain at the mature level so that when you solve a problem, the relationship wins.